Lord, get me the hell up out of here. I'm tired. I'm being honest with you. If you're too pious for my channel, then you can go on to the next channel, find someone else. But those of you who know me, my cousins that have been here from day one, or even been with me a little bit of time, you guys know I'm always going to keep it 100 with you. Your girl was tired. What's up, everybody? Welcome or welcome back to Closing Open Wounds with yours truly, Cleisha. If you're new here, welcome here. I wanted to talk to you guys briefly because I have a confession to make. For those of you who don't know, I work in public housing. I work in property management. I have been doing so since 2013. Started out as an admin, worked my way up. I've been a property manager. I've been a leasing manager. I've just been in that field, and I love that field. I want to premise this by saying that I love what I do. I don't see me actually leaving this field, but I do have a confession to make. Last year, I was working at a property in a tough, neighborhood in New Jersey, in South Jersey, and the ministry of it really took a toll on me. And I tell people this: if you don't have a heart for people, please do not find employment where you have to deal with people and, just emergencies and just dealing with people and customer service and everything like that. Don't get into it if you don't have a heart for people. I have a heart for people, but I have a confession to make. I literally wanted to leave property management as a property manager. I said, God, and I remember praying to God last year. I said, Lord, I love this field. I love, what it affords me. And, I've grown roots in this field. So I don't want to leave it. I said, but Lord, I don't want to be a property manager anymore. It is burdensome. It is tiresome. And guess what, guys? I'm not even talking just about the workload of it. I am talking about the ministry part of it. And if you don't know, working in, low income housing, it is very burdensome sometimes, for lack of better words. It is a lot of pressure because of the people that you are dealing with. There is low income, there is poverty, there is drugs, there is alcohol, there is sexual promiscuity. There is a lot to deal with in this field when you're directly working with the community. We're not talking about an A-class property where you have the elite that are staying there and everyone has money and your facility is beautiful. And for the most part, things can run a little bit smoothly. I'm sure they have their challenges too, with demands and things like that. But dealing in low income housing, dealing in, Section 8 housing, very tedious, very overbearing at times. So I remember praying to the Lord and I said, God, get me out of here. All the crime. Not that I was directly affected, and I praise God and I testify about that all the time. I have not had any encounter where I was totally feared for my life. I know how to talk to our people. I know how to talk to my residents. So I get along very well with my residents. But again, Lord, get me the hell up out of here. I'm tired. I'm being honest with you. If you're too pious for my channel, then you can go on to the next channel, find someone else. But those of you who know me, my cousins that have been here from day one, or even been with me a little bit of time, you guys know I'm always going to keep it 100 with you. Your girl was tired. So I had an opportunity that was presented to me to leave the property that I was at and to go to another low income property, another impoverished city, but in a different position. Still dealing with the same thing, still dealing with the burdens of ministry. After I was finished with that contract, I found myself back as a property manager. And I said, Lord, well, I have to put food on the table, so I'm going to have to do what I have to do. Now, I was in the office last week with my wonderful colleague, Miss Jackie. Love you so, so much. She is amazing. And she supports this channel. So thank you so much. And, we had a resident come in and she told me, she said, Miss Cleisha, this problem is going to, they're coming. This is the issue. No worry, Miss Jackie, I got it. Chill. I got you. For whatever reason, God has graced me for this to deal with challenging people because I know how to talk to people. Speaking to this resident and ministering to her in a way that will cause her to think about her life and her responsibilities as a tenant. Very young. A lot of my residents mistaking me for being the same age as them. And I bless God for that. I will be 44 this year, but I have a lot of young residents, young mothers, young fathers that come into the development. And after talking to this woman, this young lady, and she left, and I just laughed, and God said to me, this is why you can't leave. I was pissed off. I said, God, I don't want to do this anymore, but I laughed and I said, okay, I get it. Because if it's not me to minister to these women, if I'm not there on the front lines, how will they find purpose? How will they find destiny? How will they be able to pivot to a different way of thinking? It's the way of thinking. And as the lady left, the young lady left, and I looked at Miss Jackie and I said, you know what? That one of the issues that I believe that we're having today in our impoverished communities, and I can only speak for South Jersey. I can only speak for South Jersey because that's where I'm working at right now. In the 80s, there was so much drugs and alcohol, the crack, the cocaine, everything that hit our communities, Atlantic City. And I'm going to do another video about this, but I have to get this out before I go, to the house of the Lord. So much has happened in that time that affected our adults at that time. You may know, my parents didn't raise me. There's a lot of us 80s babies who struggled. There's a lot of us 80s babies that was lost to the system. There's a lot of us that had to raise ourselves. If it wasn't for my grandparents, I don't know where me and my brother would be to provide a stable home and to give us foundation in the Lord. I don't know. And the issue that I'm seeing now is the 80s babies, the 90s babies coming, they don't know anything about housekeeping. They don't know anything about how to conduct yourself in a business facility. They don't know anything, God forbid, about credit, how you should speak to your children, how you should dress when you go into these facilities. It's such a lost generation, and that generation has given birth to another generation. So now we have a generational curse of different things that just stem from, I'm an 80s baby. This is what I see. And God said, no, you have to be here. You have to be the lighthouse. And I'm just like, Lord. And he spoke to me and he said, I've graced you for this purpose. My dream job, let me be in an office somewhere, shut my door, do my files, and be done. I would even love to train other property managers and other people in property management. That is my dream job, where I don't have to deal with and I don't have to see and be burdened and feel so bad for the lost souls with the drugs, the alcohol, the domestic abuse, the crime, the shootings, the murders. It's a lot. I was explaining to my sister, a great friend of mine, she wanted to know how it worked. And I just gave her a little bit. And she just was like, wow, that's crazy. She was like, that's a mess. It's not good. And it's not. But I wanted to encourage you. If God has you in a place, I say all of this to say this to you. If God has you in a place where you're like, God, I want to get out of here. And he has not moved you from that. He has not transitioned you into something else. That is because maybe that's where you're supposed to be. And I'm praying for peace of your mind. I'm praying for grace to abound on you. I am praying that God gives you the sustaining power to keep on moving, to keep on treading, to keep on making a difference in these people's lives. If we don't help these people, if we don't show them what they can be, and there's many times where women have been in my office, have stayed in my office for an hour as I'm working and ministering them, as I'm praying and giving them tissue. I have oil, holy oil in my office because it's a ministry. What you are doing is impacting the kingdom of God. What you are doing is so necessary. What you are doing is giving hope to the hopeless. My God, I am getting emotional about this. I'm praying for your strength as I am praying for mine, but we got to do the work. One planted, one water, and God will give the increase. Stay on your post, beloved. Stay on your post. Y'all pray for me. I'm on my way to the house of the Lord, but I had to share that with you. I will be doing a part 2 to this message and just really digging into how the effects of the late 70s and the 80s are still affecting us to today. I go on inspections in my property when I have to, and you'd be surprised what you see. How people live and they're comfortable with it. And I have witnessed and I have testified to many of my residents. My first home was in the hood of Atlantic City. That was my first apartment. It's supposed to be a bus stop, not a pit stop. Not for you to raise generation after generation after generation in there. Oh, my mom live over here and my grandmom live over there. Now that's fine if that's all you can afford. I know the troubles that we are having right now in our economy with trying. Listen, your girl has not arrived. Okay. I could use a little bit more money. I could use a little bit more. Okay. But I encourage all my residents, if you need to go to school, do what you got to do. And a lot of them won't go to school or go to work because it will raise their rent. When I tell y'all, please pray for the low income housing people, whether it be, the workers all the way to the residents. This is something serious that we need to discuss, but I got to go. I love you. I just wanted to encourage you on today. Stay on your post. I know it's hard. I know you don't want to do it. I know you get tired. I know you get frustrated, but God will reward you. You are his hands and you are his feet. You are his mouthpiece. Speak life. Speak life. God will reward you. He got you. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Take care.